Hey everyone, welcome back to the Untold Season podcast with Heather Gabrielle. I am really excited for today's guest. These ladies know how to represent the Tide in the best way. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to Alabama Crimsonettes, Ayana Veal and Rylie Dewley. And make sure at the end of the video you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm glad you guys are able to be here today.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So my first question is, so what's been going on with you? You guys, what's been going on?
So we recently just wrapped up band camp for the 2026-2027 season, which is very exciting. We started early in August, and then we had our last 3-a-day this past Friday, and our official last day of camp was Tuesday before school started. We have 2 practices tomorrow actually, and that will be
Mm.
a true official last day of band camp, but we've been booked and busy since the beginning of August.
Yeah.
For sure.
Honestly, so much has been going on in my life. Recently got my first professional job, so I work through my master's. I found that I really have a passion in working in human resources, so I got a job as a human resources assistant at a nonprofit. Started really with I started a couple before band camp, but honestly, I was at band camp when I started. So my first day was this past Monday, and that's been a lot. So got a new car. And then obviously in all that time we're doing band camp, we're doing all the twirling things. So yeah, lots been going on. Busy life.
That's awesome. So with you guys, so what inspired both of you guys to become Crimsonettes, and what did earning a place on the team mean to you guys?
So, Yanni, you want to start with this one?
Yeah, sure. So becoming a Crimsonette, it was a combination of things that kind of started that passion. So the first one being is I have been connected with the University of Alabama for my whole life. My mom has been the athletic trainer for the gymnastics team for 26 years. So that's before I was born. So a long time. With her working there, that kind of started my love and my passion for Bama. And I always knew growing up that I wanted to represent the university in a way that she had. And I not necessarily in athletic training, but just some way. And she actually in high school said, "Hey, you should pick up the baton." And when I picked up that baton, that started a passion for twirling. So when I was thinking about, the college I wanted to go to, what I was going to do in college, it was kind of a no-brainer have my to combine the passion for Bama and the passion for twirling and become a Crimsonette. So that's kind of my reason.
Oh, I got goosebumps listening to this. So my story is very different than Ayana's because I'm not from Alabama. So I originally grew up in Michigan, so a long way from home. I started twirling when I was 5 years old, and I did a lot of competitive twirling. So I went to nationals, went to different competitions. But for me, I loved the performing side of baton twirling, not so much the hard tricks in the competitions. It was really being able to go out on the floor and perform. And so when I was looking at colleges, I knew that I wanted to go to a school that had either a feature position or a line where I could really just perform and enjoy what I was doing. And I found the University of Alabama, fell in love before I ever stepped foot on campus. I actually applied and was admitted before I ever stepped foot on campus. And one of my best friends, her name is Sophie, she graduated a couple of years back, but she was a Crimsonette. And so I was able to come down to a game day, watch her twirl. She took me to some of the events and the pep rallies the Crimsonettes were doing, and I just absolutely fell in love. I just felt like it was home. I knew that if I were honored to have made the team, that these girls would be my family, and was very blessed to have made the team because these girls have changed my life at the university. And it truly means so much to be in this position because one, there's such legacy behind it, but two, these girls have made my college experience what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. Man, that's so inspiring to hear you guys' stories. That's awesome. So, yeah. So how many hours do you typically spend learning and perfecting a new routine?
A lot.
During the fall, it's a little bit different. So during band camp, our days, we have breaks in between, but the day itself is around 13 and a half hours. And so we'll practice from 8 to 11 and then 1:30 to 4:30 and then 7 to 9:30. And we usually spend each of those blocks learning routines, learning drill on the field. Once school starts, we have practice every day from, we technically start at 3:30. Our call time is 3:15 and then we go until 5:30. The band will practice from 4 until 5:30. So we spend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and some Saturdays learning choreography, perfecting those routines. And then in the spring for tryouts, you practice on your own, but it's pretty much all the time as well.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, I can't say. Like, there's just not a definite answer. I would even say that there are some times in class in my bed that I am thinking about the choreography and the routines, trying to perfect it in my mind. So, I also think that it's different for everybody. Like, I don't think that everyone on the team does what I do and, is in the bed thinking like 1, 2, 3. So, like, I don't think everyone on the team is doing that. And I know this is something that me and Riley love to do is we like to come to practice at least like 30 minutes early. And that's been pretty consistent our past 5 years. I think that extra time like helps us focus on details. And I think for twirlers, like repetition is really important. So having the extra 30 minutes like helps us fine tune everything. And then obviously, as Riley said, we have our practice schedule, our regular Monday through Friday. Saturdays is all day. And then before, the game day, we have practice before that. Then we can be 2 to 4 hours. It just depends on the game. Band camp, 13 and a half, and just so on. So there's no time for rest, but we love it.
My mic was off because I want to make sure like I get you guys. But yeah, always staying busy is like the best thing. And like I said, if you love it, it doesn't feel like work.
No.
So yeah, I have to say, I was actually a baton twirler back in my day. When I was like 8, I went to MJ's. So shout out to the company. So I know baton twirling requires a lot of precision, a lot of control. So how did you guys develop the proper technique to master those skills?
I feel like Riley's going to have a way better answer than me, but for me, I started later twirling. So typically a lot of the girls on the team have been twirling their whole lives. I started in 10th grade. So what helped me the most to get like proper technique and those skills was individual and personal attention. I really benefited from like those one-on-ones because it helped me understand technique and skills better. I think because I didn't have as many years on me, I needed more time. I needed the space to like ask more questions, slow things down. And that one-on-one time like allowed me to do that. And then especially that first year. So that first year I really needed that. And then over time, again, through repetitiveness, like you're able to develop the skills and techniques so that, you can one day do that for, someone else that needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good answer, Ayana. I think that like very similar for me. Like I did like twirl competitively and I started when I was 5, but the times I felt like I was able to grow my skills the most were when I had that one-on-one time with my coach. And like I had like really private lessons with our coaches. And so I would go to practice and we would have one-on-one time to work on tricks, routines. But also like the like performances that we would do were so beneficial to developing skills, especially for Crimsonette, because we're performing in a stadium full of over 100,000 people. And, you get nervous and anxious. And so because of my background with performing, whether it was at a competition or at a pageant or for my high school, I was the only twirl at my high school in over 30 years. So all of those experiences, I would throw myself into a performance and like I would push myself even if I was uncomfortable into it because I knew that would help prepare me for this because that's what we do on the field.
Yeah. And Rylie, you mentioned about, I forgot about this. Like I forgot you guys perform in front of like thousands of people every Saturday, every game.
Yeah.
How do you guys like handle the pressure of that? Like you're doing a lot of twirling, there's a lot of tricks and like your hands get sweaty. So how do you guys handle that?
For me, it's really just like trusting in my training and trusting in God. And like the fact of the matter is that we put so much work into this, whether it's during band camp or during the regular school year. And our coaches always like to say that you put in the work at practice when you go to the game. Yes, you want to be focused and yes, you want to be where your feet are, but that's your time to really enjoy the performance. That's your time to really like get to see all of the hard work you've put in pay off. And so that's really what I remind myself of. There's obviously games that are more scary than others. A Georgia game is going to be a little bit more scary than an East Carolina game. But all of them, you get those nerves a little bit. But I kind of just remind myself that I've trained for this. I've put in the work. And at the end of the day, like our job is there to entertain and to have fun and to enjoy. And if you're so stressed out, you can't do that. And something that I'm really carrying into my 5th year this year, and I think Yanni can probably agree with this, is we have 1 year left of this and there's no opportunity to come back again. And so it's really taking every single minute, whether it's a 100-degree practice or a 30-degree game day in December, and really experiencing everything that those days have to offer, because we only get this short 4 months left, hopefully up until the national championship. But if not, I want to go to soak in all of those moments, and being stressed takes away from that.
I would say for me, God has been the roots to my tree, these past 5 years of my whole life. And I know that he would not give me any situations that I couldn't handle. So I always think about that when I am like literally about to sit out in pregame. Like I'm always thinking like, I think, thank you, God, more than I'm nervous. Cause like what a privilege it is to be able to wear the script today and to perform pregame in Alabama and all the things. So I think that's what really keeps me going. Also, as a comeback girl, which on our team, that is people who have tried out, didn't make it their first, second, third year, and then come back, try out again, and then make the team. I know that there was a time where like I was dying. Like I wanted so badly to be on that field. And, I just had to trust God's timing and God's process, and he gave me that opportunity to come back. And because it was all unknown, like when you don't make it and you're going into that tryout process again, it's all unknown, just as it is for every girl. And so to be given the opportunity again, it fills me with pride that I took a leap of faith and God rewarded me. And so this is a privilege, and I'm going to own every opportunity.
Yeah, I get emotional hearing you guys talk, and I'm such a crybaby. I think I know what it's like to have something like bittersweet. You're like, oh, it's like my last year. I want to soak it all in. So I don't know why I felt that so much. So I know what that's like. And also hearing you guys talk about your faith in God, it's just like, it's so good to hear, because I also, God is my foundation always. And I always make sure I tell, like, I used to be shy about it, but now I'm like, hey, God's my foundation. He's the reason why I'm here. He's the reason why I'm doing this. And so it's just like, it brings me joy, and it brings me joy to hear you guys say that, and just hearing about, your journey and being a majorette. So yeah, that's just really touching to me.
Yeah, that's good. I think one of the best parts about this team is like there's so many godly women on it, and like they push you to be better, both like in twirling, yes, but also in your everyday life. And it's like it's something so special that I don't think a lot of people realize about our team.
Okay, let me stop being teary-eyed. I don't know why I'm so emotional today.
Me too.
Yeah, so sometimes I just feel it and I just kind of let it go.
It's the power of the spirit.
100%, Yana, it is. But on another note, is there a particular trick or routine that took you a long time to perfect?
Do you want to go, Rylie, or?
It doesn't matter to me. What do you want? You want to go?
Sure. Okay. I know Rylie remembers this. For me, and again, I did start twirling later, so I didn't really pick up all the skills and the technique that maybe one would need to make the team, although I was really fortunate and very deserving to make the team. But my first year, we did a horizontal two-turn. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know how to do it. I couldn't do it. And I think something that people don't realize is if you're learning something new, whether it's choreography, a trick, technique, you have a very short time from band camp to the preview show to the first game. So I was really on a time crunch to learn a skill that it was really challenging for me personally, not for everybody, because in the grand scheme of things, a horizontal two-turn is not the hardest trick in the world. So that was definitely the hardest trick that I had to learn. And again, going back to that individual and personal attention, like I had so many people on the team that gave up so much time to help me get where I needed to be, whether they were in my own class or upperclassmen. So I was really lucky to have so many experienced teammates who, took the time to help me, and I ended up getting the trick. But it definitely was hard.
I'm going to brag on Ayana for a second here, is that what people don't also realize about Ayana is that she's one of the hardest workers I've ever met in my life. And Ayana would come to practice between an hour and 30 minutes before the call time. So we already have a 15-minute early call time. Ayana would come before that call time every day to practice, and she would work on that trick the whole time until she got it 10 out of 10 times. And I still tell that story to our first years, because there were times where, like, we all will struggle with a trick or a move. And I always tell them, like, Yanni, her very first year, struggled with a trick. We all have, like, a trick or routine that we have to work hard on. But Yanni's special in the fact that she would come to practice very early, and she worked every single day until she had that trick flawless. And we had that trick on this past show last year, and she could do it with her eyes closed. Like, and that is something that is so special about her, is her work ethic. It's something that has inspired me a lot. And for me, I think, like, in my case, it wasn't necessarily a trick that was hard. It was the whole Crimsonette style. So coming from a northern background, we focus a lot on less like dance twirling and more of like the competitive, like very hard tricks. And when I came to the University of Alabama, I knew I didn't want that anymore. I wanted to be able to enjoy my life twirling and not have to stop that. But I didn't really know how to dance. I didn't know what the Crimsonette style was. I didn't know how to like move the way that Crimsonettes moved. And so I had to really work on that. And I was very blessed my first year to not only be really close with Sophie, who helped me with that, but we have Crimsonette families. So each year during band camp, we get assigned a family. So you have a mom who is your senior, and then you have a junior, sophomore, freshman. This year, Ayana and I are actually co-moms. So we're moms together. And then we have our family underneath us. But I had a very incredible freshman year mom. Her name is Jovi, and she had the style down pat. Like she could dance, she could twirl, she did it all. And so that was such a blessing, because she really helped me with the style and getting the routines, even in like pregame, halftime, all of it. I looked like a fawn. I did really know how to move, but she helped me be able to succeed in that aspect. And here we are now. So
Hold on, I have to say one thing, because she does not give herself credit. Rylie can move. Okay, Rylie can move. Like she's stunning. And if you ever watch her perform, like I get goosebumps watching her in her element. She's so photogenic too. Like the pictures, if you see her Instagram, like
girl, stop.
Her photos look the way that she performs, just so beautiful, so elegant. And I also want to say, like, Rylie is someone, I don't know if you can tell just by like what you've seen so far, she's someone who can fill your cup. Like she just knows what to say and when to say it. And that's a skill that I definitely don't have, a lot of people don't have. And I think it's so beautiful. And I love seeing it here. And I'm loving that the world can experience this too. Because she's just great. She's great.
God.
Love you, right?
Just love you. I'm so thankful for you.
Oh, same.
I love seeing girlhood. Like, I feel like I haven't been a part of something like that. So I think it's really, really inspiring to see how being a part of something like the Crimsonettes can bring really, really lasting relationships and friendships. So that's really inspiring to see and hear. So the Crimsonettes are an important part of the University of Alabama traditions. So what is it like to represent the university in that way?
Yanni, you want to take this one first?
Sure, I definitely can. So when I saw this question, I think something that even when I'm about to perform, like every single time, and sometimes even at the hottest practice, like I just get in awe of knowing that I'm part of a tradition that existed long before me, that will exist long after me, and that these past 5 years I've helped set the standard for the generations to come. So I think that's something super special to me. And the fact that I'm able to contribute to that legacy, is just so amazing. And even if like 10 years down the road, like no one knows, like in the program, like who I am, it doesn't matter because they're going to be using a standard that I helped set with so many other wonderful people in the band. So I just think that the tradition is just being part of such a wonderful legacy.
Yeah, I think that something you said, Yanni, was like really, really good. I mean, that whole thing was really good. But about like people might not remember you exactly, but they remember like the tradition and the standard that you set. I think that also goes into like our everyday lives, but also like game days. We meet so many people on game days and at events, whether it's Elf and Stomp, President's Mansion, a pep rally. And most of the time, these people, they don't ask for your name and they don't know their name. They're not gonna remember your name, even if you give it. But they're gonna remember that on this game day, at this Elf and Stomp, at this President's Mansion, at this pep event, they met a Crimsonette. And that Crimsonette was kind to them. That Crimsonette met them and saw them where they were. That Crimsonette talked to them and made their game day experience and their experience at UA what it should be, which is like one of legacy and tradition. I think there's something that's so special about that, that the band and Crimsonette's color guard, even like cheer and dance get to do in particular, is like they get to connect with the fans on a very personal level and they get to make that game day experience what it should be.
So, with that being said, what might surprise people about the physical demand of being Crimsonette?
I don't think people really realize fully what it is that we all do. People obviously see us on the field during game days or they see us at an event, whether it's a pep rally or elephant stomp. But like we've kind of mentioned, we practice every single day of the week for 2 hours a day. A lot of us put in work outside of practice, whether it's for that season or for tryouts. It might look like us going to the gym, working on strength training. It might look like us working on a routine. But I don't really think a lot of people realize the level of work that does go into it. And I also don't think that they realize the level of work that goes into being a band member. So often you hear, oh, they're just a band member. But the MDB works so incredibly hard. They're one of the hardest working bands I've ever seen in my entire life. And I would highly recommend that people come out to our practices just to watch and see what it is that we do behind the scenes. Because when you're at game day, you only get to see this one glimpse of what we do. And that one glimpse is incredible. But what like leads up to that is the practice. And that's where we build the friendships and the morale and the memories. That's where a lot of the season actually is. We spend more time at practice than we do at game days. And so I think that a lot of people don't really realize the work that goes into it and how demanding it can be in that aspect.
Yeah, that was such a great answer, Riley. I think for me, what would surprise people is I think people don't even consider twirling a sport. So the fact that it needs so much endurance would probably, I mean, if anyone picked up the baton, it would surprise them because, it's not just like I have the baton and I'm waving to people. Like you're not just standing there looking pretty, although we love to do that. Like we are dancing, we're tossing, we're moving our body, we're performing, and we're doing all that, while we are exhausted, but we're doing it exhausted, but also effortless because we have that endurance. So I just think people will be surprised that it's a sport.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. Like, it is a sport. And like I said in my last interview, I interviewed an inspiring sports broadcaster, Jada Rael, and she was like, even marching band is a sport. Like you're doing something physical. Like you're marching, you're blowing into an instrument, like you're moving your body. That's a sport. And I was like, I 100% agree. So yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of attention towards being in the band and being a color guard and being a majorette. Like it's kind of like I feel like it's kind of overlooked by other sports, and so that's why I was like, no, like this, we need attention over here.
Yes. And the band works so hard. Like they are out there. I will arrive early, but there will be band members who also are there early working on their drill pages, working on like practicing with their instruments. And it's like I can't do that. I can't play an instrument. So I give them so much credit because I know I can't do what they do.
100%. So, what is the most rewarding part about being in Crimsonette?
I think that for me, the most rewarding part, I think a lot of times people might think like game is the most rewarding part or like being able to find a sequence. And that is all so very rewarding. But where I have felt the biggest like shift in my life and the biggest like moments where I see God working in my life is when we're out in the community, whether it's at a volunteer event or just connecting with the community. I love performing on the field. I love doing pregame and halftime, but I love even more having the ability to connect with people on game day because you most likely will be the only person that person ever meets. And you have this unique ability to make that experience so special for them. You have the opportunity to give them a memory that they will have with them for the rest of their lives. And I think there's something so special in that. Like, I think back to when I came down to the university for the first time, and I was really nervous. I'd never been down to the university yet, and I was able to meet several women on the team, and they made my weekend feel so special. And I might not have ever met them again had I not made the team, had I not pursued this dream or received a scholarship to come to school here. But they made that moment such a memory for me. And the fact that we get to do that for people across the state means so much.
Yeah, that's such an amazing answer. Also would say the service aspect of things. One of our coaches said that we're blessed to be a blessing, and it's so true. And it's not even just on days like when we're meeting people, but it's also like our service events that the team does. It's also, to see the impact that you're providing at a nursing home it's just so rewarding. On the materialistic side of things, though, I think that something that I have really appreciated is the opportunities that Crimsonette has provided me. We are going to Macy's this year. We performed at Disney. Me and Rylie have marched twice in the Rose Bowl parade. It's taken, the band program is taking me to states that I've never been to, Tennessee, Louisiana, like all of that. The fact that I get to experience that just by being a member of the band has just been like so rewarding. So it's been worth it, and getting to experience those opportunities, they're earned, but um, they're also needed. I feel like we put in so much work, and then when we are getting like Colby said something. Colby's our coach. Colby. She's our coach. She said, you're reaping the rewards of what you sown, and like just to be able to work so hard and then to get those opportunities is just it's amazing.
Yeah, and you guys touched on this. You guys are co-moms for the younger Crimsonettes. So, what do you hope, even freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and even like little kids who look up to you, what do you hope they see and learn when you perform?
I think I'll answer that question in two parts. I think for Sarah, who is our baby, like I just want her to know that we're available. Like I want her to know that we are a phone call away, a text message away, away. I got chilled to my spit there. And that like it's not just about performing. Like sometimes the mental step is just as important as the physical. And so I want her to know that we're always there for her. For younger twirlers, I think for me, for my story, especially like starting later than I did and not having any dance background, like I want them to know that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And I just want young twirlers to understand, especially if they're wanting to make the team, like you don't have to be the best, but you have to be willing to put in the work to be better. And also too is that you have to believe in yourself. No one, like your mom can believe in you, your dad can believe in you, but that means nothing if you don't believe in yourself. So that would be like my advice is, you have what it takes. You're not going to be at 100%. No one is, but you have to be willing to put in work to get there, to get better. And then also you have to have, we call it the Crimsonette confidence, But in anything you do, have confidence that you are worthy to take up space in whatever room that you're going to.
Yeah, going off of what Ayana said, I think for Sarah, the biggest thing is letting her know that we are here for her. She's absolutely precious. I adore that girl. And just like letting her know that like there is more to this team than just the performance aspect. Like there are friendships in this team, there are memories in this team, there are shoulders to cry on and people to celebrate with. And that's something that is so special because in a large group of women like we have, you don't really always get to see that, but we truly have those special bonds within our team. We're like, we'll celebrate together, we'll cry together. And it's something so special that I hope that throughout her time here at the university, she just grows to see and love. And I think she already has just through band camp. For younger twirlers, something that I actually had taped to my wall when I was trying out for Crimsonettes is a quote, and I forget who wrote it, but it says something along the lines of, don't give up on something you can't go a day without thinking about. Because I think in twirling and really in any goal in life, it is so easy to give up because you're going to face adversity. You're going to face obstacles. You're going to have injuries or setbacks, whether it's like you don't make your dream team or you have a really rough practice or you have a pulled muscle. And in those moments, it's so easy to throw in the towel and say, I'm done. This isn't for me. This is a sign that I need to quit. But if you wake up every morning and it's the first thought on your mind, if you can't go to bed without thinking about it, if it's a part of your everyday life and you can't stop thinking about it, then you need to keep fighting for it and keep pushing. And some days you're not going to be at your best. Some days, instead of giving 100%, you're going to only be able to give 15%. But as long as you're still pushing and you're still consistent with your work, you will get there. I think that Ayana, with her story, she's living proof of that. Yanni never gave up in this, and now she's entering her 5th year as a Crimsonette. And we're going to Macy's together. And like, it's so cool to be able to see that on our team. We have several girls in this team who are comeback girls. We have Carlisle and Jaylee, and there's so many. And the reason why they're here is because they never gave up. And especially in the sport, when it's not seen as a sport, and when you have people talking about it in negative ways, it's easy to say, like, is this really for me? Like, should I keep going? But again, if you can't spend a day without thinking about it, then keep fighting for your dreams. And like Yanni said, you have to believe in yourself with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would also love some of that Crimsonette confidence as well.
We're
She'll
gonna
miss
see
that.
join us on the field. We got extra batons for you for
Thank
sure.
you. Hey, I can still do one scoop and then around my head and then maybe a
Let's go.
flip and it'd be a little thing, but that's it. That's all I got. That's all I can remember.
We can get you in there dressed.
Thank you. So my last question is, if you could describe what being on the album Crimsonette means to you in one sentence, what would you say?
I think mine is what Ayana said earlier. You are blessed to be a blessing. And this team is quite literally that. It's a blessing. I think about my college experience here and all the things I've gotten to do, all of the memories I've made, all the people I've met. And literally all of that is an extension of Crimsonettes. I was able to be plugged into a local church where I've spent the last couple of years interning and volunteering. And I was baptized and my teammates came to that. And that's because of Crimsonette. I have been able to succeed in classes and have really great professors and learn how to network with them because of the opportunities that Crimsonettes has provided, and also because of my teammates and the input they have given me. We've been able to travel and do all these different things like outside of just twirling, like in college and in life. And none of that would be possible without the blessings of Crimsonettes. And at the same time, like, we get to do that for other people. We get to be there for Sarah and our family and the girls who come after us for years to come, even when we're no longer on the team. And it's such a blessing to have that family and those memories while we're here at the university.
Yeah, that was such a good plan, Rylie. Actually, so I wrote mine down on my phone because when I was crafting, I was like, I actually need to save this in my brain so that I feel like I would love to read this to Sarah one day. But what I have is that being an Alabama Crimsonette gives me the privilege to carry the legacy of those that came before me while inspiring those that will come after me. And again, like, to me, the fact that I'm setting the standard and that I am right now setting the standard that was set before me is just, I can't even put into words like how that makes me feel, how privileged that makes me feel, how happy, how enlightened that that feeling gets to be. So
Yes, I love all those answers. Those were so good. And you guys were such a joy. And I love talking to you guys for the past, what was it, 30 or so minutes. I loved getting to know you guys during this interview. Um, is there any last words you guys would like to say? Because football's coming up.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, first of all, for having us on this podcast and for talking with us. We're, I think, always grateful. My dehumidifiers turned on. We're always grateful just to be able to share our experiences and our memories, because a lot of times people don't really get to see that. When we're on the field, people just see Crimsonette, but there's so much behind it that has shaped both of our lives in the most incredible ways. So having the ability to talk about that is a huge honor. And it's one that I always get really excited about, because I'm like, oh, yes, I would love to tell you about all the incredible things that Crimsonette has given us and has blessed us with. So thank you for having us on here, and can't wait to see everyone at the first game. Oh, it's coming up so soon.
well, first off, Heather, thank you so much for giving us this platform to speak about one of our passions that we've gotten the privilege to do for the past 5 years. That's unfortunately coming to an end so quickly, which is so sad. I think my last words would just be that I just want people to know that you are enough, and if you should never let someone's opinion of you dictate, your world. And that goes with trolling, that goes with everything. So, always take the initiative. I never live in regrets, take the initiative to, talk to that Crimsonette, to reach out for those lessons, to pick up that baton in 10th grade. We've had a girl on the team that started a year ago, just take the initiative to live life to the fullest, and don't let what's going on up here affect you, because it will weigh you down if it's not in a good place. Okay. And also make sure that you are around people like Rylie who will fill your cup, who will tell you and remind you. Remind is the important word. Remind you that you are enough and you are worthy of every opportunity that God had set before you.
Amen. I felt that in my soul. Okay.
That was good, Yanni. That was good.